Hey guys, we are taking another hike deep in the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch woods this evening just before dark, because we're going to finally debunk this whole Bigfoot Sasquatch myth, at least partly. Here's what I'm getting at. Listen very closely. I want you to pay attention to everything you hear in the background, okay? I want you to watch in the background. And we're going through some pretty thick brambles here. I've decided to get off of the very well-beaten trail and maybe walk around where, I guess, take the path less traveled. Probably going to end up lost. Okay, so here's the whole thing about, these Bigfoot Sasquatch videos. Everybody's been like, what's really up with these videos? What's up with all this? Bigfoot Sasquatch isn't real. Bigfoot Sasquatch is real. You know he's not real because there's no tooth fairy or there's no Santa Claus. Or you know he is real because, like I've demonstrated before with gravity. Just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not there. Guys, let me tell you. When it comes to Bigfoot Sasquatch, there are so many experts, quote unquote experts. Everybody knows everything. They have all the answers. I mean, you go to say a YouTube channel like this or a website, a blog, look in the comments section. After you watch the content, ingest the information, like the information I'm presenting to you here. And again, get my six for me. Keep an eye on what's going on behind me everywhere I go, okay? And, see what the other people are saying, and this is what we're going to debunk right here and right now. I'm going to tell you about what has got to be the most remote place I've ever been in my life on planet Earth, okay? This was probably 5 or 6 years ago. We're in 2019 now, beginning in 2019. So this was probably 2013-ish. Maybe 2012, okay? It was in this island called Mindanao in the southern Philippines, southernmost major island of the Philippines. It's where my beautiful bride is from, and it's where I lived for about 5 years. So we spent quite a bit of time living out in what they call the provinces. Here in the U.S. or in the Western world, we'd call it out in the country. But, we spent years living out there. Hours and hours and hours away from any major airports, any paved roads, okay? And we had a little motor scooter there for quite some time, like a moped. And when we were kind of really broke at the time, but every now and then when we had a little bit of extra money, like an extra $1 to get an extra kilo or so of gasoline, we'd take joyrides, and we could only afford to do this maybe once or twice a month. We were really down and out back then. But one time we just started going up this mountaintop, and we just kept going and going and going, riding and riding and riding. And we came to this place, and you guys, you can look it up on Google Maps. It's a place called Little Bago. All right, I'm going to ask you to look up in this area of this. Gosh, if there's anything there, they've seen me doing this now, so it's not like I'm giving the impression of ignoring it. But there's this place called Little Bago. Now, there's this main Bago, which is on Luzon, the same island that Manila is on, the capital city of the nation. It's where they grow all their fruits, like strawberries, apples, stuff that's non-tropical, because it's high elevation, cooler temperatures. Well, Little Bago was like its cousin down in Mindanao. It took 4 hours one way, straight up a mountain on this little moped to get to this place. My wife had only been there once before, okay? I'd never been there, of course. So we get up there. We get up there just before dark. And the people, I'm just going to say it like, this is what it's like sometimes when you live very far away in third world countries of non-Western type cultures and stuff. When you look like me, there goes a hawk overhead, or an eagle one. okay, people would often stare at me because I look different, okay? And I got that. I understood that. But when I got to this most remote area I'd ever been in my life, it's got to be one of the most remote areas in the world, people were staring even more so. And I remember looking back at my wife, and we weren't married at the time. I said, gosh, honey, these people are staring at me like I have a third eye. It's almost like they've never seen a white man before, or a white person. And she said, most of them haven't. And I thought to myself, wow, you know, I never really thought of that, but I guess I'm somewhere in a different country in Southeast Asia, 9,000 miles away from home, and I'm in such a remote location in this country that I'm actually, well, I mean, a lot of these folks here have never seen anybody that was not of their culture, their race, their country. I mean, I guess a lot of these folks hadn't even seen missionaries. So, you know, we're going through there, they're staring at me. We stopped at what they call it Poblation. It's like the town center. Of course, there wasn't much of a town at all here, but we stopped off to get some snacks and drink some soda before we ended up going back down off the mountain. And people were there, and the little kids were staring and snickering and laughing, and I was snickering and laughing with them and all this stuff. And then I remember all of a sudden they ran. I mean, they took off running and ran into the buildings, most of the kids and some of the adults. And so I'm looking around like, what's going on? Now, I knew the area we were was kind of dangerous. There was a lot of NPA there, stands for National People's Army, or National Philippine Armies. They're the communist regime that was trying to, you know, they say overthrow the government, but come on, these people, they would hide out in caves, and then every couple months or so, a whole big clan of them would turn themselves in to the authorities because they were starving to death and they just wanted food. So, I mean, that's what kind of real threat they posed. I'm dropping my stick, trying to get through these brambles and everything. So I thought maybe the NPA's coming, or maybe there's, you know, some soldiers coming up looking for NPA. But it wasn't the case. I'm looking around, and I don't see anything, but then I hear like, shh, and I look up, and you know what I saw? It wasn't an eagle, it wasn't a hawk, it wasn't some potential shapeshifter. It was an airplane. It was an airplane flying overhead. And so I asked my wife, who wasn't again my wife at the time, but I asked Dearly, I said, what's everybody running from? And she said, the airplane. And she pointed up, and I'm like, why are they running from an airplane? And she said, it scares them. They're actually scared of the airplane. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And she goes, no. She goes, when I was a little kid, I used to run from planes too. And I'm like, it's just a plane. And she goes, yeah, but you know, you get out in places like this, they don't always know what that is. So here's my point, and here's what we're debunking here about, you know, all this Bigfoot Sasquatch stuff, all these myths, all these experts, all these people that leave these comments on these sites in the comment section underneath these videos and underneath blog articles. You would be amazed how many people have commented just in recent days with some of these videos I've been making that they know there's no way that Bigfoot Sasquatch could be anywhere in my area because they hear cars, they can hear, or they've seen power lines in some of the videos, and that they've heard planes. Several people have said they've heard planes flying overhead while I'm making these videos, so that means I'm not remote enough out. I'm not remote enough out, period. That's what they're saying. Guys, and again, I spent time in the Middle East, Iraq, other parts of Asia. I've been in Europe, of course, cities there, very well established areas there. But what I'm saying is the most remote location I've ever been in my life, Little Baguio, southernmost island of the Philippines, Mindanao. I mean, you hear a car right there. Hear it? So there's no way Bigfoot Sasquatch could be behind me in these woods, right? And planes fly across here all the time. There's no way Bigfoot Sasquatch could be around here because of these planes, right? Yet in the most remote area I'd ever visited in my life, there were planes. Guys, I don't think there's anywhere on earth you could visit these days in 2019 where you're not going to have a plane fly over you. I don't know if you realize this or not. I mean, now most of you do. I know I'm kind of talking to the very small minority here, but the majority realizes that planes generally take the shortest path of travel when they're going from point A to point B. I mean, the last time I flew back to the U.S. from China, we went over the North Pole. I mean, just saying. So anyway, I had to talk about that because of all the things we're trying, all these myths about Bigfoot Sasquatch that we're really taking a hard look at, doing research with. Do they shapeshift? Do they not shapeshift? Are they dangerous? Are they going to skin me alive when I'm out here walking around in their woods, or are they going to befriend me? Will they accept my presence here and live in peace alongside me as the free-range deer have, as the free-range Blair Witch gray squirrels have, who do not throw nuts at me anymore? What is it? Who knows? Everybody's an expert with social media. But what I'm telling you is you can go to the most remote locations on planet Earth and you're going to find planes. It's that simple. So this myth has officially been debunked. Rewind 2 seconds and listen for a knock. Listen for another one.